Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan. Today, we are going to dive into the stags that I have. This is 23C, 24D, I believe. Sorry, 24B and 24D. Those are the three that I have. My wife, love her to death, got me this for my birthday. Paid like $275 for it, but she was able to actually find it, that specific 23 batch. Go check out the review of that one. Then locally here, I went in and was able to pick up a 24B, and then in March, I have the receipts right here. In March, March 17th, I picked up the 24B, paid $51.69. And then a few weeks later, on April 4th, I went back in and they had the 24D available. So check out the reviews of those as well. We're going to do a head-to-head comparison on all these, just to see how they were. Now, life's been busy for me. So as I'm shooting this is Labor Day today, Labor Day. Boy, that would have been something. Memorial Day. So it's May 26th today, and man, crazy stuff. So my computer went down on me back in April. Then the stock market went crazy on me, and that kind of took it in the shorts on that one. So I had to get a new computer. Had to get our roof finally was re-roofed here a couple of weeks ago, from a hailstorm back in September of 24. Air conditioner, put in a brand new air conditioner. That took a couple days to install that. So thanks to my stepdad for helping me with that one. Man, just had a ton of things. Kid graduating, graduating his preschool and all that stuff. So just been super, super busy as we start the summer this year. Just took me about a half hour to figure out how to set up my new computer, to record with the equipment that I have, trying to get the webcam and everything to all sync up and line up and whatever. And then, because I use the headphone audio jack, that's also where my microphones are not that great. They're not it's not a USB microphone. It's just a little one that you plug into the audio jack. So I recorded the video, not the whole video, but just a test video a few times, and then went to play it. And when I played it, I wasn't getting any audio, and realized that on this new computer, I need to unplug that audio jack, the microphone, in order for it to kick over to the speakers in order to play it back. So the first two tests that I did, I thought that it didn't record sound, or that there was something going on, because I was playing with different microphone settings and stuff on the computer, trying to figure out what was actually the microphone that I was using. And I'm still not convinced, and the speakers on the new computer are not the greatest. They're a little bit tinny. So I have no idea how this audio is going to turn out. With any luck, this is quasi good audio, but I don't know. So please forgive me if that's not the case and it's absolutely terrible. Highly possible, but whole string of things. And yeah, anyways, that's all to say. Welcome. Thanks for watching. It's been probably about a month or two since my last video dropped on either YouTube or BitChute. We're going to go through these stags partially because my buddy doesn't know it yet, but we're going out to visit a friend here in Oregon pretty soon. And I'm going to take this bottle of 24D with us. We're about halfway through it. And we're going to enjoy this on the beach while we are doing some clamming and crabbing. And then whatever we don't drink while we're together, he's going to get this bottle for the rest of that bottle. So before I did that, I wanted to make sure that I got this review in and made sure that had a little bit of content to put up. We're going to do that. I don't know if we're going to do it today, but we got these 2 4 rows of single barrels. We got 2 Weller 107s and 2 E.H. Taylors that we're going to try. So let's get into it. So this 23C I have not had. We're just going to do a little bit of each. I've not had this probably since I reviewed it, maybe. I don't know. It's been a minute. But we're just gonna do a quick kind of head-to-head comparison here of all of these. So my right, your left. Um, Once again, it's 23C, which we paid a pretty penny for. With shipping and everything, was $300. And then $51.69. Is that what I said? Which is insane. I realize $51.69. I realize that most people cannot find it for that. If you can, awesome, man, because that's about the price you should be paying for this stuff instead of, $150, $200, $300 for it. And I'm not trying to rub it in your face or gloat. I went from 3 or 4 years with no bottles to within a 6-month time span having 3 bottles, and I actually have, again, not rubbing it in your face, I actually have 4 bottles because I bought a second one of these 24Ds because this one was phenomenal. My wife and I both agreed that this one was excellent. I'm curious to see how it stacks up to the 23C, but as far as the 24B goes, the 24D is way better in my opinion. It might be the perfect whiskey. So if you can get your hands on a 24D somehow, go get one because it's phenomenal. But with that, we're going to start out here with the 23C. I want to nose all 3 of them, see what kind of difference we have. It's a little bit cool down in the basement today. So give this a little bit here. They've been sitting out. You just watched me pour them, so they've been sitting out for just a moment. Okay, classic Buffalo Trace. Very fruit forward, bright red apple, red fruit. A little bit of that flowery honeysuckle, a rich, deep caramel mixed with that apple. So it's like a caramel apple pretty much. Really, really nice. Yeah, that's what I'm getting off of that for sure. Going into the 24B, very muted on the nose. I don't know if these are high proof. Actually, before we get into it, let's read off what that is. So 23C is 125.9 proof. 24B is 127.8 proof, and 24D is 127.4. That's 63.7% ABV. Makes it 100 and what is that? 126, 27, 414. Yeah, so 127.4 proof on that one. So here we go. Okay, that opened up a bit. It's not as sweet. That's incorrect. It's sweet. It's not as fruity as 23 was. This is more almost like a milk chocolate in the background, a little bit of cinnamon. It's more cherry than apple and more blossom, flowery blossom than fruit. The more I keep going back to it, the more on profile it is, but at first it was less Buffalo Trace in profile. Man, this is like a sugar bomb, super sweet. It's like a really very sugary sweet caramel and apple, and this is more cherry and cherry blossom. Like all the trees around here, and they were blooming the last week or two, and the lilacs and the crab apples and the plums and everything were going, and it kind of reminds me of stepping outside and smelling that real floral, more floral than apple. Very nice, pretty light in the nose. Getting into 24D. Oh, we're right back similar to this. So all 3 are different. This is way more caramel than it is caramel, caramel. I always switch it up. It doesn't matter. It's more sugary sweet, a little bit of confectioner's sugar. There's a hint of milk chocolate in there. Um, the fruit it's like 23 was kind of jammy, sweet, bright. This is less fruit and more caramel, sweet, confectioner, sugar type notes. There is a little bit of that apple buffalo trace, but it's mostly a little bit floral. This is mostly sweet, dark, caramel and whatever else. So this is fruit, this is flour, and light on the nose. This is caramel sugar. So there's where we're at with the nose. On the palate, 23. A little bit hot up front. Very, very fruit forward. Apple. Oh my gosh, I forgot how good this one is. It is very fast in movement. It was proofy and hot up front, but not so much that it was masking any of the flavors, but the flavors were just hitting boom, 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 boom. It was very fruit forward, and then you hit like a really nice sweet mid palate caramel, a little bit of oak tannin in there. It finished with like a sweet grape, like big league chew grape bubblegum kind of a flavor mixed with some oak. It was absolutely fantastic. Um, yeah, I got nothing bad to say about this at all. And actually, that kind of that palette lines up. So it was like apple first, a little bit of cherry, then it went into caramel, um, a little bit of drizzly sweet caramel syrup in there, a little bit lighter, a little bit of honey. There was also a through line of a sweet cinnamon, not like candy or anything like that, but like a sweet cinnamon stick. That was kind of the undertone of all those notes that kind of went all the way through. Absolutely fantastic. Um, Probably take a little dab of water on that just to kind of get that out of there. On the nose, this it's just thin. It almost had man, not a it's a kind of like a milk dud on the nose, or oh, is it called a sugar daddy? What are those caramel things that are on a stick? Comes in a yellow package and like a milk or creamy caramel that's on a stick. Um, it almost had that smell. Like that's what my brain went to right away. But it's not real heavy um, in any of it, and it almost has a chemical underpinning the nose, almost edging towards like a Sharpie marker, but not. That's not quite the note. It's not quite there, but it has just a little bit of a chemicalness to it. And, maybe like that acetone nail polish remover thing. But it's pretty much in the back. So, um, not too bad. Go on, taste. Yeah, roof up front has a little bit more of that bitter oak tannin up front. Um, that kind of carries through the mid palate. It's like that bitter oak tannin starts in the middle, keeps on going, and then there's layers of sweet that get piled on top of that bitterness. Um, it's basically tastes like it's over oaked, and there like flavor wise, there was a little bit of that Sharpie chemical, Sharpie marker, chemical flavor that was going on in there. Like the second or third beat of the mid palate, it picked up, kind of popped, and then went back down. Um, Oddly enough, it's still a pretty good whiskey. I would not pay $100 for it. So, like, if you were chasing Stagg, you happen to get a chance, and it was the 24B, I would be pretty disappointed if I paid $100 or more for it. $51 is nice. It is hot. It drinks hot. Um, it did have a lot of nice flavors in there. It's not a bad whiskey, something that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It's not that at all. But it definitely is, I would say, off profile, if there is such a thing. Because they batch it out, maybe it's not a thing, but it's not one that I'd be seeking out. Let's put it that way. Okay, go another sip. Going into 24D. Oh my gosh, this is just dream whiskey right in the glass. It is creamy, sweet, Christmas caramel, drizzled on top with, sprinkled on top, we'll say, with powdered sugar, but like heavy, heavy cream and butter caramels. I mean, they're just, yeah, it's just sugar. It's so awesome. The fruit and the floral and the sweet, those components is tamped way down and in the background. It's not even really worth mentioning compared to the sweetness of the caramel that's coming out of the glass. It's pretty good. Let's see what it is on the taste. The taste delivers. Viscous, oily, and clings to your tongue. That proof is showing up kind of mid palate, but leading into that, it is just a coating sweet caramel. Like, I don't know how you guys eat your Christmas caramels or whatever, but I like to put them in my mouth and suck on them for a while or chewing them up. And it's that sensation on your tongue, but it's all sorts of sweet. And then somewhere towards the end of the mid palate, you get a little bit of um, floral and apple components show up. And then you get hit with a little bit of oak tannin that's rounded out with a sweetness and the proof at the end. A lot of nuance, a lot of complexity in that glass. Missing several notes that I'm, talking about here, but it's an experience start to finish without any flaw. So like both the 23C and the 24D, that's probably the best way to describe them. That they are an experience start to finish. They're just well balanced whiskey where that profile it builds and changes, and there's all kinds of flavors and nuances that can be sought and found in there. The 24D, I found it to have complexity, not necessarily in the flavors that I want, um, but it was very short in each of those flavors. It didn't have the same mouthfeel, and it definitely drank a lot hotter than the other two. So, let's see here. Which way do we want? Do we want to come back? I think the best is to start here and go back down because I've been away from this one the longest. But mind you, these are all pretty hot. All in the one. What did I say? 120 something. 125.9, 127.8, and 127.4. Those are pretty proofy. But they're all really tolerable for being that. Oh my gosh, jumping out of. I'm so glad my wife bought this. This is everything that everybody made it out to be. Like on the nose, just on the nose alone, it is a balanced and complex whiskey with the sweet and the apple, and you could even call a little bit of cherry in there, but like just the fruit and the sweet, the confectioner sugar and the caramel, man, just so good. And the flavor profile. The only thing I would say on that last sip, there was a little bit of oak tannin that hit me up front with the proof, and that I have to assume that's coming out now more than anything, due to coming off of these other two whiskeys and having water mixed in. Probably fractured that a little bit, but man, it just delivers on what you expect or what you think something that you're gonna probably pay a hefty penny for would deliver. Um, it's absolutely fantastic. Um, I'm not going to go for water on this one. We're going to go straight up, just head to head. Still, the nose, it is still not as complex. There's like a butteriness to it. Now, my wife and I, when we drank this 24D, that was one of the comments that we both had when we first tried it, was that like that viscosity was there, but it had a creaminess, a buttery, like buttered popcorn butteriness that went along with all those sweet flavor profiles, which I really, really like. Didn't get that necessarily on the first time through, so we'll see if we get it again going this way now that I talked about. But this 24B smells like that. Like it has that kind of rich, buttery smell to it mixed in. So I would say the nose profile changed. That chemical flavor is kind of gone. As yeah, I'd say it's gone. Sometimes I'm getting it like way on the back end, but more of that buttery creaminess with a little bit of oak in there. So up front, it just hits you with this bright seltzery proofiness and bitterness of an oak tannin before, and it's just like really light on the palate. That buttery creaminess is gone. It doesn't come forward at all in the flavor profile, and it really hits very short, very blunt, these sharp notes, and then moves into more drawn out and rounded oak tannin underpinned with some light notes. So if you like an oak forward whiskey, the 24B probably going to be something that you might enjoy. I personally don't like oak forward stuff. I guess I'm not special in that regard, that I'm kind of like the masses, that I like a sweeter, when it comes to bourbon anyways, I like a sweeter whiskey. Um, this does have plenty of sweet notes in it. It just has more of that tannin bitterness in there as well, but it's not like a pappy where it's like over oaked and super bittery. It's just more than what I would, especially at this proof. This one might be aided by a drop or two of water. That might help it. It also might fracture it a little bit too much and break it apart to the point where that just brings that astringency up. Whereas right now it's like just a little bit of bitterness, but it could become a kind of acrid and astringent if you were to fracture those with water. So could go either way. It's a gamble. But what we do know is that this one is fantastic, and so oh my god, it really just it is a complete whiskey. Sweet, oak, caramely, fruity, viscous. It smells dense. It smells viscous and oily. Yeah. Tastes like it too. Just it clings to the tongue. This one had almost, like I said, effervescent kind of there. That proof kind of hit funny. This is just a swelling and a coating on your tongue of oily, buttery fattiness, creamy caramel, some fruit that's mixed in there, that nice apple, like I said, like a caramel apple. It does have some of that oak tannin on the back end, but not astringent, not bitter. Just kind of a little bit of oak to let you know that's there. Has some cinnamon in there. Um, Man, it is good. But if I'm being honest, I have to say 23C brings more to the table. Pour down that fruit, floral, sweet. You know what? Let's do head to head since this is empty and we know that that kind of already. So 23C, 24D, last sip each. Fruit proof didn't really hit on that at all. Hmm? Yeah, head to head. 24D, creamier, butterier, richer, sweet caramel, a little more oak. 23C, almost no oak, fruit, sweet all the way through. Yeah, man, it's kind of amazing how different these really are. Um, these two clear winners, head and shoulders above the 24B. I would say the 23C might be the winner, but kind of depends on your palate. And I would not run away from either of these if I had a chance at them. So there you go. There is my comparison. Fantastic whiskey. Of course, everybody already knows that. If you can get your hands on a Stagg, go ahead and do it. Try not to be crazy about it, especially now that I don't know how most people are viewing it, but it seems like there's a lot of stories about the bourbon bust and all that other stuff. I think we're going to start seeing some accessible whiskey at reasonable prices here in the next year to two to come. I think as people, as their budgets tighten up and stuff, you're going to see people like these are the first whiskeys that people drop out of the collection is something that might be $150 to $300 that they have to travel to try and find, that they have to spend overnight to try and get a bottle, so on and so forth. So a lot of the challenges that you have with getting allocated bottles, especially from Buffalo Trace, I think you're going to start seeing prices of those coming back down a little bit. You got to figure inflation on all that stuff and whatever else, and the price of the ingredients going into it are all going to keep going. But there's an absolute glut of barrels right now in all the rig houses over in Kentucky and stuff. I know they're selling a lot of barrels out to people, different non-distiller, what do they call it? Non-distilling. Been out of the game so long, I don't really remember. NDS, non-distilling something, NDP. I don't remember. So you got your distillers and your non-distillers, so like your blender people. They've been getting a lot of pretty decent barrels out the door and into those places. So you see a lot of new brands and stuff that aren't making their own juice, but they're blending really nice whiskey. And I think you're going to start to see that type of stuff really become accessible, available, and priced where you're going to be able to do it. My hope is that, again, I'm not a huge Happy fan, but my hope is that in 5 years' time, you're going to start to see those bottles sitting on shelves once again for $200-$300 like they were 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, where they were just everywhere for actually 10 to 15 years ago, where they were really something that most people didn't really know or care about, and most people were not spending $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 on a bottle of whiskey. I think COVID and the influx of cash really helped prices go insane, and the fact that people weren't doing anything. I mean, just look at YouTube channels. I think I was one of like 4 or 5 YouTube channels when I started in 2020 or 2021 was when I released my first video. There wasn't hardly anybody, and within a year of that, there had to be hundreds of whiskey channels out there of people sitting drinking whiskey. And so because of that, my channel got lost in the dust and I never really promoted it or anything like that. But hopefully I've helped you figure out how to spend your money through this journey. These bottles right here might be kind of like I said, I'm taking my time and coming down off of the hunt and whatever else, starting to save my money a little bit more, just like everybody else. On this trip to Oregon, I'm going to keep my eyes open, see if there's some bottles I can fill in, or get at good prices kind of along the way through Montana and Washington, and Idaho, and Oregon. And we'll see what I can come up with. I'm not holding my breath on it, and I'm not looking to spend any crazy money on anything. But if I happen to find a good deal on something, definitely going to buy it. But like I said, I'm kind of toning things down, so I'm going to get through these videos, and that'll kind of be that, I think, for the time being. But as always, if I get a new bottle, I'm definitely going to bring it to the channel here and go through the paces with it. And like I said, the whole goal of this channel has always been help you to figure out your palate, see if it matches mine, and then if it does, helping you spend your money more wisely so that you don't end up with a 400 bottle collection that you probably aren't going to drink through in your lifetime. But you know what? There are worse things to have as problems in life. So there you go. Thanks for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day. I know this video is a little bit long, but 3 whiskeys will do that. We're going to move on next to, I don't know. We'll see. These are ringing in at what? 100 proof. So we'll probably go 4 roses because they're 100 proof. Then we'll go into, I don't know, maybe the E.H. Taylor. Those are 100 proof, and then finish up with Weller. We'll see how many videos we can get through. But hopefully the audio is good and everything is good on this video. Thanks for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video.